Let me hear your voice sing more like you sing. More like one more time, just sing. More like you. More like you. More like you. Ooh. More like you. Put your loving arms over me. Standing unworthy, wash me in your cleansing blood. I'm the one to preach and work miracles. Didn't you say you don't know me? Put your loving arms over me. Just cover me. Come on, sing. Put your loving arms over me. I'm standing unworthy. Wash me in your cleansing blood. Take away impurity. I don't wanna preach. And work miracles. Then you say you don't know. Put your loving arms over me. Come on, lift him up. Put your loving arms over me. I'm standing unworthy. Sing, wash me in your cleansing blood. Take away impurity. I don't wanna preach. I don't wanna preach and work miracles. And then you say you don't know me. Put your loving arms over me. Put your loving arms over me. Listen, lift your hands right. I'm cold and I am weak. My knees buckle in defeat. Lord, I'm down and bending knees. This burden that I hold, I just can't bear it alone. There's a silent one. Oh, listen, the darkness in this world is a temptation to, come on, see it, my flesh tastes it sweet, and I am drawn to defeat. But they say I'm anointed, holy, I'm not fit. Put your loving arms over me. I'm standing unworthy. Wash me in your cleansing blood. Take away impurity. I don't wanna preach it. I don't wanna preach and work miracles. And then you say you don't know me. Put your loving arms over me. Lord, just cover me. Put your loving arms over me. Lift your hands right now. Overflow in this place. Fill our hearts with your love. Your love surrounds us. You're the reason we came to encounter your love. Your love. Come on. Overflow in this place. Overflow. Fill our hearts with your love. Surround us. You're the reason we can. Do it count us. Every hand's lifted up. Spirit of the sovereign God. Heaven, come down. Heaven, come down. Sing with me. Our Father. Let this light. Can you hear it? Heaven touching earth. Oh, the shout. Come on, Shema. Our Father. Our Father. Oh, Lord of heaven, what's your name? Sing louder. Let this light. Let this place be right. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? The sound of heaven. The sound of heaven touching earth. The sound of heaven. The sound of heaven touching earth. Our Father. Lord of heaven, what's your name? Sing louder. Let this light. Let this place be right. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? The sound of heaven. The sound of heaven touching earth. The sound of heaven touching earth. Spirit break out. Break the walls down. Begins to pull the walls down. Heaven come down. Spirit break out. Spirit break out. Break the wall down. Break the wall down. Spirit break out. Spirit break out. Heaven
Jesus Christ came and he died on the cross for us. And he gave man, he gave us the antidote for the crime situation in our nation. And if the gospel of Jesus cannot save, nothing else will. And this is the reason we have open house, to go into all the world and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ. And if every church in this nation, about 3,000 full gospel churches in this nation, if everyone will go around their community and forget about the air-conditioned building, you will see a change in this nation. If the gospel of Jesus cannot save, nothing else will. No P&M, no UNC. But Jesus saved. He gave us the antidote 2,000 plus years ago. All of heaven roars your name. Sing louder. Let this place hear up with praise. Can you hear it? The sound of heaven touching earth. God bless you. Thank you. The sound of heaven touching.
Information provided by the speakers and or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information. The information provided by the speakers and or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.
Movement is medicine. Sharpens your mind, balances your body, fixes your focus. Elbow your neighbor and tell them, you got to bust a move. Dr. King challenged racism in this nation, but realized he couldn't do it sitting behind the pulpit, which is why he sprung into, here it is, the civil rights movement. He marched on Washington. He pulled down the curtain of segregation for the mistreatment in the South to be seen by the entire world. He pushed back against unfair voting laws. He pulled down Supreme Court decisions of division and stood against barking dogs and fire hoses. To be clear, it was not an event, it was a movement. It was protest, legal challenges, civil disobedience, and boycotts stretching every part of the American body politic all at the same time because he knew stagnation would be the death of us. I rise this morning because we as a people have become lethargic, sluggish, and sedentary because we've been sitting so long in comfortability that we no longer feel inclined to make a move. You are in such a rush to go to brunch, to go play golf, to binge watch on Netflix, that making a move is no longer even entertained in your subconscious. ICE in Minneapolis has killed an innocent woman named Renee Macklin Good. And as of this hour, the officer will face no penalty. We're going to have to make a move. An ICE agent threw tear gas in a car full of black children, some of whom are in ICU in this moment. Just this week, one ICE agent has been charged with SAing a detainee because it was the only way he would allow her to get visits. 1,000 more agents are headed to Minneapolis this week. Not even realizing, ladies and gentlemen, that ICE is now the new slave patrol. The Klan no longer wears hoods, they now wear masks. They are no longer volunteers, they're being paid to oppress brown and black people. The budget for ICE must be frozen immediately. If it's in Minneapolis today, it'll be in Marietta tomorrow. If you don't say anything, racism and bigotry will continue to wield its head. But I'm so glad there's some witnesses in the building that understand I cannot sit still when other people are being marginalized. Donald Trump said civil rights has made white men get treated poorly. If they're getting treated poorly, then black people are below welfare. They want to go door to door and arrest people with no warrants and no probable cause, and all while he has named himself as the acting president of Venezuela. He's asking Jamaicans and Haitians to self-deport, but has said nothing about illegal Germans and Italians and Swedes because they believe, here it is, that if you are black or brown, you are illegal, but if you are European, then you are permissible. Ladies and gentlemen, the cost of living is skyrocketing. Upcoming elections are being questioned. And military leaders who speak up for accountability are having their pensions being cut. We need a movement. Movement is medicine. Sharpens your mind, balances your body, fixes your focus. Elbow your neighbor and tell them you got to bust a move. Dr. King challenged racism in this nation, but realized he couldn't do it sitting behind the pulpit. Which is why he sprung into, here it is, the civil rights movement. He marched on Washington. He pulled down the curtain of segregation for the mistreatment in the South to be seen by the entire world. He pushed back against unfair voting laws. He pulled down Supreme Court decisions of division and stood against barking dogs and fire hoses. To be clear, it was not an event, it was a movement. It was protest, legal challenges, civil disobedience, and boycotts, stretching every part of the American body politic all at the same time, because he knew stagnation would be the death of us. I rise this morning because we as a people have become lethargic, sluggish, and sedentary, because we've been sitting so long in comfortability that we no longer feel inclined to make a move. You are in such a rush to go to brunch, to go play golf, to binge watch on Netflix, that making a move is no longer even entertained in your subconscious. ICE in Minneapolis has killed an innocent woman named Renee Macklin Good. And as of this hour, the officer will face no penalty. We're going to have to make a move. An ICE agent threw tear gas in a car full of black children, some of whom are in ICU in this moment. Just this week, one ICE agent has been charged with SAing a detainee because it was the only way he would allow her to get visits. 1,000 more agents are headed to Minneapolis this week. Not even realizing, ladies and gentlemen, that ICE is now the new slave patrol. The Klan no longer wears hoods, they now wear masks. They are no longer volunteers, they're being paid to oppress brown and black people. The budget for ICE must be frozen immediately. If it's in Minneapolis today, it'll be in Marietta tomorrow. If you don't say anything, racism and bigotry will continue to wield its head. But I'm so glad there's some witnesses in the building that understand I cannot sit still when other people are being marginalized. Donald Trump said civil rights has made white men get treated poorly. If they getting treated poorly, then black people are below welfare. They want to go door to door and arrest people with no warrants and no probable cause, and all while he has named himself as the acting president of Venezuela. He's asking Jamaicans and Haitians to self-deport, but has said nothing about illegal Germans and Italians and Swedes because they believe, here it is, that if you are black or brown, you are illegal, but if you are European, then you are permissible. Ladies and gentlemen, the cost of living is skyrocketing. Upcoming elections are being questioned. And military leaders who speak up for accountability are having their pensions being cut. We need a movement.
All right, good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and good evening to those of you locked on to Constructive Talk wherever you are in the world. Because I know there are persons all over the world that are locked on to Constructive Talk, and I am very conscious of that. So I want to say thank you all very, very much. You're looking at a pit here, and I'm not going to stop talking about it and pointing it out, where we need answers on Joshua Samaru's death. We need answers on Joshua Samaru's death. Somehow or the other, I'm feeling as though it's going cold. We're not getting answers on Joshua's death. We need answers on Joshua's death, and I'm going to continue to point it out. He is in his car. His hands are outside of the car, and we need answers. What happened to Joshua Samaru? All right, so that is my question this evening, and I'm going to continue to ask that question as we continue to wait for answers. This evening, I have a guest with me because there are issues in Trinidad and Tobago that need to continue on the front burner. And I want to take this time to even thank him for keeping his voice relevant in this fight. You know, in this fight where we're seeing what's going on, we're hearing what's going on, and there are questions that just are not being answered, and we want answers to questions that we have as a nation. So this evening I have with me my brother from Tobago. I had him on some time ago with my member of parliament, Mr. Brian Manning, and this evening he's no stranger to constructive talk, and the issue is about what's going on in Tobago. What is happening in Tobago? And there are things that are happening in Tobago that we want answers to. So this evening I have with me none other than former Senator Mr. Lawrence Hislop, and he is here with me this evening. We're going to be talking about Tobago and the boat, the blue wave, but it ain't waving nothing. So let me introduce my brother to you. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my brother. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago and the world, because I know Constructive Talk is listened around the world. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Good evening, Tobago.
Well, if you don't know Tobagonians listening, you will know tonight. Did I tease you a little bit? So, my brother, what is really going on? What is really going on? Why are we not getting the cold truth about this boat? First to begin, before we go any further, the last time you were on with me, we were discussing this issue about this boat. Right? When I remember the young lady, her name escapes me now, who is in the Senate. Right? Miss
Senator Robert Judgment.
Right. She was at a press conference giving her explanation about this boat, and she would have written to the Integrity Commission. Is it the Integrity Commission?
Right.
No, not the Integrity Commission. The Freedom of Information.
Okay.
She wrote to the Freedom of Information to get the procurement and the information about this boat. How was this boat procured? What is it? What was the procedure? Why is what? What? Give us some information about this boat. I don't know how far she has reached with the information. But while she was giving her press conference, while she was at the opposition press conference, one of the members of the media would have reached out to Minister Jolene John and asked her about the concerns that the opposition senator had.
Right.
Miss John would have, as you would say, ramagé and said, have nothing to worry about. The boat will be sailing. And the boat is going to sail. And the issues that the opposition have is non-issues. And lo and behold, the boat had problems again, claiming that the roughness of the sea, remember that?
Yeah.
The Business Association in Tobago, I'm just giving my recap. You will give your recap after. Because I want people to understand that this is not a just come thing for us. We have been venting this since when it was last week you on?
Last week or week before?
Week
I
before,
can't
because
remember.
last week was carnival.
Because yeah, right. It was week before because I've been ventilating this for about the last 2 weeks.
Thank you. Thank you. So we
Yeah.
just want to let people know that we ain't jumping. We ain't hopping from here to
Yeah.
here and oh, because we want to talk. No, we just want to talk. It's an issue. It's a concern for the people of
Right.
Tobago.
Yeah.
And we need to stop playing games. So, I'll continue with my recap.
Right.
While she was busy giving her concerns, the reporter was busy texting Miss John to get a response. Right? It made it look as though the senator was making much ado about nothing. Right? Lo and behold, the boat started to get problems again. The businessmen had a press conference. And when the businessmen had the press conference, I remember, if I find that video, I'll play it, where one of the businessmen put one of the reporters in the place. You're asking us questions that we cannot answer. And that is why Fale could have turned in my face yesterday and thank Tobagonians for their patience. Because the businessmen would have put the reporters in their place and say, hey, you take all your time. Things will work out. Clearly, from since then to now, things they work out. Things they working out.
Yeah. Things are working out.
And my you might be vexed with me why you gonna say no. But the reality of it is, if it was COP, NAR, well, I take that back. Not NAR. COP or any other party and PNM, Tobagonians would have never been so quiet.
Yeah. There's no need to apologize for that, Pastor Google. That is a fact because Tobagonians were not as quiet as they are now in 2017 when we had some similar challenges on the sea bridge.
So
We were not
talk
as
to you
quiet,
give
we were
us
very quiet now.
you give us a recap now. You tell us now where I may have left off because I heard, remember I tell you I banned from Facebook. So I hear you jamming, I hear you ramaging, I hear you extemporing, I hear you write your kaiso, I hear all kind of thing about you on Facebook. So I don't know, but I want you to share with Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension the world, what is going on in Tobago. Because we will play some clips, you know. We have some clips. We have a clip of Mr. Fally apologizing. We have a clip of Julian John walking through the boat like a boss. You understand?
Well, the thing about it, Pastor Google, is that you are within this weekend. I have seen some comments by some people who have never seen commented on matters like, and I'm talking about small businessmen, very small businessmen, people with a little restaurants and so on. Been hearing comments from small caterers, um, and the regular man on the street who can't get something as basic as flour in the supermarket. Um, and so and so these are the things that we're talking about. And the reason why you are hearing these comments now is because this thing hitting home. This thing is hitting home seriously. And I want to start the discussion tonight by saying simply this. I want the cargo ferry to function efficiently. I want a working cargo ferry. I see there's some persons who are saying that we are hoping that the cargo ferry do function for political mileage. I don't want this is something I do not want political mileage out of. It doesn't make sense to talk about political mileage with this conversation. Because two things. We have 4 years to wait for an election in Tobago. We have well, it's more than is down to 4 years as well in a couple months for a general election. So the truth is, what real effect is it going to have if from a political standpoint I'm talking about, if the ferry doesn't function properly? And so this is, for me, this is not about political mileage. This is about real people facing face. This is about real people facing real challenges and real issues in Tobago with a cargo ferry that we cannot rely on. And that is what this is about. This is about businessmen who have indicated publicly that they are losing money. And then when you hear the chief secretary making a very flippant comment, a very snide comment that he never knew businessmen could make over $500,000 in Tobago in a month. That's to tell you how detached and unaware, and you really don't have a clue about what's happening on the island that you're governing. You really don't have a clue. And so these are the things that we're talking about. This is not about political mileage, Google. This is about bread and butter issues. That is what this is about. And Tobagonians, the sad part about it is that those who are quiet were the ones who were most vocal in 2017. These are and that is what is, because when we talk about people swimming to Trinidad and so on, that is the level of political protest that transpired in 2017. That's the kind of grandstanding. And if I am to use the terminology of the Deputy Chief Secretary, Dr. Faith Brebner, she said on her post that basically in 2017 they behave like jackasses. And if they have to behave like jackasses, like they will. That's what she said. So she admitted that in 2017 they behave like jackasses. That's what she said on her post. And it is mind blowing that this is where we are at. This is where we are at. That persons are now justifying in 2017, when we spoke to the fact that we understand what the situation is and there are solutions in place or solutions being worked on. We were called all sorts of names. They dragged the two former MPs all over. They called Ayana and Sham for all kinds of names. They called Dr. Rowley all kinds of names in 2017 about the challenges we had on the sea bridge. And now the shoe is on the other foot, and now you are in governance. And you're telling people hold strain. And as I said in a comment, I reposted something that a journalist cut out of the chief secretary's press conference on Sunday, when he said he was sorry. And I'm saying, whilst you are saying sorry to the truckers and the business people, you need to apologize to the former Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley. You need to apologize to the two former members of Parliament, and you need to apologize to the former Chief Secretary, Mr. Kelvin Charles, because you called Mr. Kelvin Charles a momo. because Mr. Charles also apologized to the Tobagonians and the business community about the challenges that we were facing in 2017. And the then minority member, who is now the chief secretary, what he and forget to call Kelvin Charles is that he didn't. And that's because I can tell you, business people are feeling it. Let me tell you, a businessman told me, Google, that Friday, when the vessel was supposed to sail Friday night, he had over, that close to $500,000 worth of perishable items, frozen. He had a whole truckload of fries. He had all sorts of meats, close to $500,000 worth. And that truck spent 2 days on the boat. But thankfully, I asked him today if he had any spoilage, and he told me no. So he was one of the fortunate ones. But he did. But a few weeks ago, the reports that I had is that he was not as fortunate because he lost a significant quantity of shrimp. And then the chief secretary is coming flippantly and saying that they'll seek to compensate businessmen. But a businessman does not want compensation. All a businessman wants is to run his business successfully. If you are providing a service to the business community, that it is reliable, that it is efficient.
Right.
That's all they want.
But
They are going to make the money, because they've set up their business to make money. Business people don't set up their business for compensation.
But let me ask
Because
you
the
this.
length of time it is going to take for compensation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this.
Mhm.
When the Cabo Star, because I want to call it by the name they used to call it. They used to call it the Cobo Star.
Yeah, Watson, give it a name.
When the Cobo Star was working, what? No, I wanted to be honest. We used to have issues like this.
No, that listen. And I'm being
I know
very
you don't
fair.
want to be political. I know you don't want this.
No,
listen,
no,
listen to
I'm
this.
being- no.
Listen to me, Lawrence. I know you said earlier. Hear what Google. I want the boat to work. I want them to get a proper working cargo boat
Cargo vessel.
vessel,
Yes.
right? Which people in Tobago, business people, hoteliers, everybody can be supplied properly. I respect that. I understand that.
Right.
Fair enough. And I don't think anybody who don't want that, then something wrong with you. No, we want a proper working vessel from Trinidad to Tobago. Proper working vessel.
And proper working, reliable, efficient cargo service.
Thank you.
But
But
I've been very fair.
Go ahead.
Because we had issues with the Cabo Star. There was from time to time. You had issues with the Cabo Star.
Okay.
But one of the biggest challenges I've always had at Google, and I'm having now with this current situation, is the lack of communication. Because truckers now can't even go to the port today, twice today. We attempted, and I'm talking about from company's personal situation. Twice today. One in Trinidad and one we attempted to get tickets for a truck to go down on the boat tonight with a piece of equipment on it. And we were told they don't know if the boat's sailing. We were told they don't know if the boat's sailing. That is what we were told in Tobago. And that is what one of the drivers in Trinidad was told when he went to look for a ticket. They don't know if the boat's sailing. That is what port people are telling truckers. They don't know if the boat's sailing. So these are the kinds of issues that the business people and the truckers are talking about. There's no reliability. We're not sure You are saying that the vessel is going to go into full commercial service on the 1st of March. And we don't know if you are going to go back to the 11 p.m. sailing from Tobago and the 2 p.m. sailing from Trinidad, which is the schedule that, since I know myself in Trinidad and Tobago, know about boat, know about ferry between Trinidad and Tobago since the days of the Gelton and the Teaston, because that's as far back as I can remember. I sailed on the Gelton as a child. I sailed on the MV Tobago as a young adult. And then I sailed on Warrior Spirit and Sonia and Beauport. I at one point in time, Google, I had my own 3-ton truck doing inter-island transportation. So I know about the ferry system. I sure have the people who talking about the ferry system don't even know how to buy a ticket to go to Trinidad on the 11 o'clock boat. They don't even know how the system works. But you come in a press conference on Sunday and telling the truckers, you come and sail with them when the boat goes into full commercial service. The truckers don't need you to be coming on the vessel and sailing with them for sympathy and for tokenism, you know. They just need the vessel to work efficiently. That's how these guys make their money, Google. They're men who do inter-island transportation. That's all they do as a living, you know. If you want 5 windows for a house you're building in Tobago, and the next man over 2 tons of steel, so and the next man need a tank or 2 tanks here, there are guys whose job, whose business it is to come down on the boat 11 o'clock in the night, run by this hardware here, run by that supplier there, run by that. They may go to 5 or 6 different business places to pick up items for about 5 or 6 different people. And then come back and then catch the boat at 2 o'clock, come to Tobago, offload. They offload and they back down on the boat 11 o'clock in the night again. That's what these guys do. So when you do have a reliable service, what you're doing is affecting a man's income. That's what you're doing. And so when we talk about the ferry system needing that it needs to function properly, it's not want. It's an essential service. And it is an essential service more for Tobago than it is for Trinidad.
So what you said earlier on about Miss Faith B. Israel Brethnath.
Brethnath, yeah.
Saying that how they behave when it was 2016? 2017. They want to behave worse than that now?
No, well, she's saying that if that we ought to trust them, that if they had to get on bad, they go get on bad. But now they eat at the table, so they don't need to get on bad. But the thing about it is, you was getting on bad with the people who had a seat at the table. You know, I made a clarion call on my live Google. I made a clarion call for the 2 members of parliament to at least say something to the population of Tobago. You know, through this entire scenario, this entire situation that we are facing, the 2 members of parliament have said nothing to the people who elected them. We have not heard a word from the member of parliament for Tobago West, Joel Sampson, and we have not heard a word from my member of parliament for Tobago East, Mr. David Thomas. Nothing has come from these gentlemen. They didn't even come and say they're sorry. They're feeling the pain. They didn't say nothing. You know.
Why you think they're not saying anything?
Well, I don't know. Maybe the man who is really the de facto MP for Tobago East and West told them they can't say anything. And as the scripture says, he that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said. Maybe the de facto MP for Tobago East West has said to them, You can't say nothing. I go do all the talking. So we elect them for to go down and they say they're going to fight for Tobago.
Wow.
This entire situation, I have not even seen these gentlemen
Do you
on the
think
port.
do you think that the call that is being made for an investigation into the acquiring of this boat, this vessel, there is a need for some sort of inquiry into this? There's some sort of investigation into this. Where is this? Why is this? Somebody who is very close to what's happening on the port of this boat is saying to me that, hey, Pastor Google, the reality of it is that boat running on one engine, you know.
Google, there is something. Look, I just got some information that, and this is from a businessman who very hands-on with his business in terms of going to Trinidad, getting his goods, putting his trucks on the boat and so on. And the information he has is that the vessel can't dock in Tobago when it are high winds, and we've had some high winds over the weekend. They say the vessel can't dock in Tobago in high winds. And you know, when I hear people talk about, oh, the boat on sea trials, and all kind of fine. But you know, every day the fast ferry moving back and forth between the two islands. Every day the fast ferry docking in Scarborough. We had a cruise ship on Ash Wednesday, the cruise ship that was in Port of Spain for Carnival. We had a cruise ship on Wednesday. I think we had a cruise ship, was it Saturday, boy? It was a cruise ship this week as well, if I'm not mistaken. And these are bigger vessels that are docking in the same port on the same jetty that the man hit. So something just special with the Blue Wave Harmony that it need a tug. And then that's the other thing, that the other question that has to be asked. There's a tug parked up in the port in Scarborough by a major contractor, and I have no problem with the major contractor. The contractor get work. But there's a tug parked up in the port of Scarborough, and that tug is there to assist the boating coming in. A tugboat.
What you say?
The cruise ships just come into Scarborough, dock, turn around and leave without a tug.
So why
the
is
same
this?
The same pilot who function on the Blue Wave Harmony, as far as I'm aware, is the same pilot that functions for the cruise ships and has been doing this for years. And so the cruise ships coming into the same port, docking on the same jetty. When it's time for them to, they're backing off the same jet and heading out to the same channel without the assistance of a tugboat. But you need a tugboat park up, waiting on a cargo ferry from Trinidad. And as I said this morning on another platform, we've been doing inter-island transportation by sea for more than 100 years, Google. Since the days of the steamer, which used to take weeks between Trinidad and Tobago. The steamer used to actually go around the whole of Tobago and pick up produce in this village and that village and that village, and then make its way down to Trinidad. Weeks. Then we moved to Buddha Paradise and Scarlet Ibis and them things during my parents' time. You understand? They said the boat used to have bed bug and all kind of thing long time. Right? And then we and I think it's on your program 2 weeks ago I made mention of the fact that it was under the PNM that the fast ferry was introduced on the inter-island service. Listen, a serious turnaround, revolutionary operation between Trinidad and Tobago. With the cat coming on stream as a trial for 6 months. And then the government decided, well, we go buy 2 used boats in the Lynx and the Spirit. And then eventually Dr. Rowley says, listen, we need to graduate. These boats are aging. Went down to Australia, had a conversation with the Australian government, got a government-to-government loan and purchased the Book Reef and the APT James. fixing the passenger side of the ferry service. And the intention, I think the RFP went out just before the PNM demitted office to purchase a cargo ferry for Trinidad and Tobago. But in the meantime, we've had leased ferries for years that have functioned in and out of Scarborough Port without problems. Without problem. I am no ship's captain, I am no seaman. But according to a businessman I had a conversation with on Saturday night, he said this is the worst experience they've had since. He said this is worse than 2017.
Wow.
That's what the man said to me. Because I asked him, I said, you sure, boy? And he said, yes. He said, this is worse than 2017. Because you see, when the chamber made the point that they are losing days, that's exactly what it is. Because the efficiency of the cargo vessel speaks to a one-day turnaround. So the vessel leaves Port of Spain at 2 p.m., gets into Tobago at around 9. The trucks offload. There are a lot of trucks that just offload and come back on the ferry for 11 o'clock. So they go, they drop off what they had to drop off, they back on the boat. I can tell you that's how our truck operates, because we bring bulk sand from Trinidad, and that's how our truck operates. The truck comes up, offloads the sand, back down on the boat the same night at 11 o'clock. The boat gets into Port of Spain at around 4 o'clock.
Right.
The driver takes the truck, goes to where he has to go, gets the load of sand, he's back on the port in time to catch the 2 o'clock ferry to come back on the road. And that's a cycle that takes place Sunday to Friday.
Well, hear what now? I want to play the video for people to understand the context in which we are speaking. All right?
Right.
So, which one I want me to play first? I have the one with Fali apologizing, and I have the one with Miss John Galavantin balancing herself today.
So just now, before you play them videos, let me read 2 paragraphs that was written in 2017, right?
Right.
I read in the 2 last paragraphs in a post that was written in 2017. Tobagonians, like sheep, are being led to the abattoir. In front of the flock is Kelvin Charles. His head bound to get chopped off first. I am sure Tracy is smiling from Costa Rica. The minority council chooses not to follow nor behave politely to bad leadership. The shepherd is not David by any stretch of the imagination. He is more like a Saul that has lost his way to the point where he seeks counsel from the witch of Endor. Google use a man of the word, so you know where we're going with this.
Yeah.
Indeed, this is the last paragraph. Indeed, it is a spectacle to behold. Some spectators believe that an island of sheep begets a pack of wolves for an executive council. But being a man of faith, I am convinced and confident that though Tobagonians behave like lambs now, one day very soon we will behave like the lions we truly are. I have faith in Tobagonians, and that includes you. Lift up your head, brother, for your redemption joy at night. Stand for what is right and not sell yourself for their friendship. Right? And this post was extremely scathing and an attack on Tobagonians and the previous and the PNM administration at the time in the assembly. You know who wrote that post, my brother?
Mr. Fali
Sincerely.
Chavez Augustine.
That's right. That is who wrote that as a minority assemblyman. And now he is the chief secretary, and he's telling Tobagonians, all straight. You can play the 2 videos. Play the one from the minister first.
All right. So to those of you who now joining us, I have as my guest this evening Mr. former Senator Lawrence Hislop, and we are talking about the issue in Tobago with the cargo boat. All right, the blue wave. Remember they had a blue wave for their election? Well, they have a blue wave boat that's giving problems that we want fixed. That's the reason why he's on the program this evening, to highlight the issues, Miss John. Cause I see somebody on the program here. I hope you carry back the right message to Miss John. That you just want the boat fixed. That's what we want. The boat fixed. That's all. That's all. Fix it.
That's all.
We put you there to fix it. That's what they put you there for. To fix it. So let's fix it now, Miss John. So let's take a listen to Miss John today, gallivanting herself all over the place. Watch now. When I see this video, I'll let you drop it though. Take a listen.
Works and Infrastructure Minister Jerlene John is tonight assuring the public there is no need to panic about cargo on the sea bridge.
After touring the Port of Spain facility and boarding the MV Blue Wave Harmony, she insisted the vessel can handle the load.
But as we hear in this report, some truckers are skeptical.
Works and Infrastructure Minister Jerlene John says there's no need to panic over the cargo service on the sea bridge. John visited the port of Spain on Monday morning and boarded the MV Blue Wave Harmony following mounting complaints from several Tobago businesses about empty shelves.
So this morning I want to ask the CEO of the port, where is the stored up cargo, the cargo that can't get to Tobago?
So we have no stored cargo for Tobago. We clear the yard with each operation and each sailing. So there's currently no backlog.
The MV Blue Wave Harmony has been criticized by some members of the business community who are already fed up after 1 month since its arrival. But John insists the vessel is ideal and all the cargo will leave Port of Spain tonight.
This takes all the bricks, all the bitumen, all the oxygen, the dangerous goods, the poultry and so on. This boat is a beast. It takes everything.
CNC3 News visited the port on Monday, and while some truckers said things ran smoothly because of the minister's presence, one man who works at Chef's Barbecue but did not want to speak on camera said he remains frustrated as stocks remain really low.
Store could close down at any time soon because at a desperate shortage. And not just one store, it's 4.
Truckers say they are heartened to hear the Chief Secretary consider compensation for businesses, but say they too want to be included as they have seen a reduction in weekly trips from 5 to 3. Truckers say they are not confident the ferry will make its first commercial sailing on Sunday. Stefan Nicholas, CNC3 News.
Well, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine is among the contingent of government officials accompanying Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar to the CARICOM Heads of Government meeting.
Today we asked, should Augustine have declined the Prime Minister's invitation amid the cargo crisis at home? And this is what you had to tell us.
The People Say, brought to you by Excel Health TT.
I ain't.
So, you know, I didn't even hear a CNC report.
Well, listen, I wanted to play for you. I really wanted to play for you what the people had to say. But I said you know what? We ain't going through that.
But that is the you see the point I was making earlier about the truckers?
Yeah.
That is what the guys said. They've gone from 5 trips per week because these guys operate every night to 3.
Wow.
So you have basically almost cut a trucker's income in half. And these are private guys, you know. A man who make an investment in a 3-ton and a 10-ton truck and hustling his trips from Trinidad, you know. That's how I explain it to you because I have had that experience. I did it for a short while. I did it. I had my own 3-ton truck. I used to be bringing up blocks and sand and all kind of things for people. And you're on the boat 11 o'clock in the night. You run where you had to run. If you had to go south, you come off the boat early, you're down the highway. Go and pick up where you had to pick up. And then you catch in the boat for 2 o'clock and come back up the road. And so this is what these guys are talking about. That you've cut their weekly trips from 5
trips per week to 3. That's what I don't. If you're running a business, how your business gonna be successful like that? Can't. It can't. And so these are the things that we're talking about. You hear that gentleman from Chef's Barbecue give an account. I am telling you, another popular eating place ordered chicken and couldn't get the order. I understand they wanted about 10 cases. They could only get 5 because that is all the supply had.
Wow.
And you hearing the minister talking about she don't know what the hysteria is about?
But then I want to. But then the reality of it is now, what is the Tobagonian saying? Because if the minister is saying to you, well, what is the big deal? What Hislop talking about? Why Hislop is making this an issue? Why is Hislop making this an issue when, in truth and in fact, there is no issue?
You know when you're ashamed? You know when you're ashamed what has happened to you? You know when you make a bad decision and you're ashamed what has happened to you? You just get silent. You get silent and you just hide. And that's what's going on right now. People hiding. Because with all the noise, that those who are now, and as I coined the phrase last week, protest politics, in 2017, that is what was placed at the foot of Tobagonians' protest politics. And they bought it hook, line, and sinker. And nothing, Dr. Rowley said, nothing the MP said, nothing no PNM said, didn't go without chastisement left, right, and center. And now the shoe is on the other foot. You are now wearing the hat of governance. And a similar matter has now been laid at your foot. And what do? You're asking people to hold straight.
Hold straight.
And you're saying you're sorry.
But to be honest, the both of them are contradicting themselves, because one is saying he's sorry, but then the other one is saying we're sorry for it and nothing to be sorry for it and nothing. Yeah.
But that's the point. No, you see, when the minister toured the port today, now the system on the port is you cannot store anything on the port if you're doing inter-island transport. If you are to catch the cargo ferry, the only time they allow you in the port is when it's time to load the boat. Right? So you can't store nothing. So when she says that there's no cargo backlog, you wouldn't find any backlog on the port. You wouldn't. Because they don't allow you to store anything on the port. And then the reality is, the reason why you are going to run like that is because there is no reliability in the system. So a businessman or a trucker don't even know if to go on the port and put the truck on the to go down by the port. You don't know. The question I have to ask my sister from Tobago, who always likes to make it known that she's a Tobagonian, because she's from Charlottesville. She likes to say I'm from Charlottesville. And that's all well and good. But the question I have to ask, where was the minister on Friday night when trucks were on the boat, truckers left their trucks on the boat, caught the fast ferry, were in Tobago, or they went to the airport, got a flight, because that's the next thing truckers do, right? That's some guys making the journey on the vessel. They will put the trucks on the boat and they'll jump on the fast ferry and come up, do something else, wait for the ferry to come up, the cargo ferry to come up, then go and take off the vessel, or they'll come up on a flight. So where was she when truckers put the trucks on the boat, come to Tobago, and now being told that the vessel is sailing? You understand what I'm saying? That is some of the real stories.
But those are things. Those are things that she.
When the businessman are telling you about had over $400,000 worth of goods on the boat, and the boat ain't leaving, where was she?
But let's
For
hear.
her to see the chaos that ensues with what is going on. And I make the point again. We want the boat to work. And we hoping that by the 1st of March, the vessel goes into commercial service, but the rate the vessel going at Google, I ain't too sure about that. And it is not something for me to celebrate. It is something for me to highlight and be concerned about as a Tobagonian.
Well, let's hear your chief secretary, because the man apologizing. Let's hear what he's apologizing for. So those of you who are on the live, share the live with some of your Tobago friends, because I'm sure that some of your Tobago friends may not even be aware that your chief secretary would have apologized. Yeah. So let's listen to what he had to say, because clearly he was concerned, because he know that Tobagonians were upset. He knows that, his he knows that, and he knows that, and he knows that Tobagonians are not so much vocal people to come out and make a bacchanal just yet. They're giving them time longer than twine. The elders just say that. Let's take a listen to your chief secretary. You want to hear your chief secretary? Let's take a listen to him now.
Well, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has invited the Chief Secretary to join her CARICOM delegation to St. Kitts and Nevis from Tuesday.
I probably wrong one. I'm going to get the other one to put up. But I know you wanted to talk about that, eh? But let's finish talk about the boat first. And then you will weigh in to your boy going to St. Kitts and Nevis. Hello? Hello?
Yeah, I'm right here with you. Here with you.
So I really want to find the one where he apologized. Because his apology speaks volumes, eh? His apology says to me that he recognizes that, hey, just like as you say, when was the PNM? We make real noise, We made a lot of noise when it was the PNM. Now it's not the PNM. We ain't making so much a noise, We ain't looking good, You know that, right?
Yeah.
He knows that it is not looking good.
It's not looking good.
And I think for me, if I was Fally, I would have done the same thing. I think I might have run out and apologize. Because let's be real, Mr. Hislop. Let's be real now. At the end of the day, right? When you listen to Mr. Fally Augustine speaks, he says something that, to me, what he said when he talked about his friend,
right,
the Minister of Transport. But the way how he had
the village neighbors,
Oh.
One from Speyside, one from Charville.
Oh. So that is why he's so nice to her.
No, well, you see, and let me be very frank with this. We know, that it's in Tobagonians clannish, right? And so Tobagonians have a habit that we really look out for each other. And that's why when we hear the level of vitriol that is spewed at Dr. Rowley, I just had to shake my head. Because I'd be like, what did this man do to Tobagonians? So he has a very good very good relationship with the Minister of Works and Infrastructure. And that based on what he says.
Yes.
But the reason, you see, Google, the reason why he has to apologize is because of statements like this. This is how you know a house slave. In fact, the best description can be taken from Malcolm X, who used the term house, and I ain't gonna use the N-word, which he defined as a slave who imagines himself to be thought of as kin by his master because they live in the same house. And it's a long time this man calling people house slave, eh? Yeah. And this is from the same post in 2017. And he was attacking the PNM. He was attacking a gentleman who joined the PNM, and he was attacking the Tobago Council, the PNM, over the matter, over the issue in 2017 with the boat. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, boy. So how soon you see this thing resolving, though?
No, well, listen, I am hoping, I'm really hoping, Google, that this whole matter with this vessel could be sorted out in short order. As I said at the start tonight, I want the vessel to work. Because, and the reason why I started making my comments 2 weeks ago, and a friend of mine said to me that I only became political on Saturday night when I did the live, because I put on a PNM jersey Saturday night, because I was very much upset. But 2 weeks ago when I started this thing, my campaign was from the standpoint of a business person, a person who understands how this thing runs, a Tobagonian, and a Tobagonian who understands that when the cargo ferry doesn't function, what that means for Tobago. And that's why, since in the THA campaign, the election campaign, I raised issue about the time frame with our vessel. Because we are now, I think it's 7 weeks or something so, into 7 weeks that we do not have a functioning cargo ferry. Because the Cabo Star left on January 12th to the election.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The Blue Wave Harmony didn't come for another week.
And they said that the Blue Wave was coming on the 12th?
No, they said initially on the 12th, and then they said on the 18th. Right? And when I heard that, I said, from my past experiences of ferries coming to Tobago, to Trinidad and Tobago, when you make the crossing and you come, you have to go through the regulatory process by the Marines Division to flag the vessel to function in Trinidad and Tobago waters, right? So you have to go through all those regulatory process, and then you have to do your sea trial, because the captain now has to get accustomed to docking in the Port of Scarborough, because the Port of Scarborough, from what we've heard in the past, is a bit of a unique place to dock, right? And so you have to get accustomed to it, and so you do a couple of trips to make sure that you understand the maneuverability, you understand where you have to turn, where the turning business for you to clear the jetty and then back in. And so I expected that the vessel would not have been in service until the end of January. I said that on the platform, you know. I made a point that the end of January is when I think that the ferry would be in operation. Unfortunately, the ferry got into an accident, and then you had repairs, say, dealing with the downtime. But the information that we are getting is that the age of the ferry is where the challenge is. We also understanding and I just have to confirm it, but I understand that the ferry was not in proper functioning order when it was found to come to Trinidad and Tobago.
But I just told you.
It has been highlighted.
But I told you that I got
highlighted.
Mm-hmm.
by the Senate. It has been highlighted by the senator that the vessel, and this is common knowledge because it was also spoken to by the maritime lawyer, that the vessel has a history of issues, has a series of issues in the past, and the information I have is that the vessel was not even functioning. When I mean functioning, was not on any active work for quite some time. When it was procured for use here, and that is why I think that's one of the reasons why the Senator Melanie Roberts Rajman is making the point that we need to know what was the procurement process to get this vessel here, and now the vessel is here, and it appears that it has challenges, because when the captain says, because this is the information I received via voice note from a trucker, that after the accident, when it came back into service, the captain made it very clear that he's not docking in Scarborough in the night. He's not docking. And so, okay, you are saying to me that we're on sea trials, right? You had to do night operations in Tobago at some point in there. So when are we within this week? Tomorrow is Tuesday. So when within this week are we going to have the vessel docking in Scarborough at night? Because the schedule that has been an efficient schedule for the port, for the cargo ferry, is an 11 p.m. departure from Tobago. So when are we going to have night operations in Tobago for that ferry?
You know, somebody sent me a message.
As the truckers say, they don't see the 1st of March, which is Sunday. They don't see. And then if you're doing full commercial, then you are supposed to leave Tobago. You're supposed to leave Trinidad as the standard time, which is 11 o'clock on a Sunday morning. You leave Trinidad and you get into Tobago in the afternoon. And then you leave Tobago at 11 p.m. in the night. You're saying somebody sent you a message?
Somebody sent me a message saying, Pastor, why you have the former senator going through all that for tonight? Boy, the boat, what they say here? Boy, it have no issues with the blue wave. So let me play Fali for them now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me play Fali for them. You see how people, you see how information, anyway. So let me play Fali for you, and then you can tell me if it has no blue wave, do I no issue. Right? Texa, person who message me, let me listen to Fali.
Go ahead.
In our top story this evening, Chief Secretary Farley Augustine says Tobagonians' patience is rightfully running out as the ongoing disruption to the inter-island cargo service continues to impact businesses and households. After a 24-hour delay on Friday, the MV Blue Wave arrived in Scarborough this morning, but it failed to settle growing anxiety on the island. Stefan Nicholas reports.
Despite the delayed arrival of the MV Blue Wave Harmony in Scarborough this morning, it has been nearly 3 weeks since the Chief Secretary appealed for grace and patience during the transition between cargo vessels. Today, Farley Augustine admitted the gravity of the situation and apologized to Tobago. He says unfortunate events, technical issues, and even overambitious planning has left Tobagonians scrambling for basic supplies, the disruption dealing a blow to the tourism, agriculture, and construction sectors.
I asked for patience because the Blue Wave Harmony came and there were some accidents and incidents here in Tobago with the ramp, accidents along the jetty on the side of the Blue Wave Harmony, and rightfully, Tobago, your patience is running out, and that is understandable.
Augustine said he expects the Port Authority to meet its March 1st deadline for the first commercial sailing of the MV Blue Wave, and that a plan must be implemented to ensure food security in case of emergencies.
This speaks to a larger issue that we have. As I said, we started a study last year to look at how long can Tobago sustain itself food-wise without any sailing of the vessel. The answer to that question is important.
Augustine notes that Tobago does not produce food on a mass scale, a statement that drew sharp criticism from former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. In a Facebook post, Rowley describes himself as a producer who is facing a real crisis due to the lack of feed for his thousands of animals. Augustine has tasked a unit within the Division of Finance to quantify losses suffered by the business community, with consideration being given to compensation. But former head of the Tobago Chamber, Diane Haddad, isn't impressed and describes the Chief Secretary as a failed leader. She is demanding an investigation into the procurement of the cargo vessel, referring to it as the Blue Grave Harmony.
He is clueless. He needs education in economics, and he is a failed entity as leader of this island. And Madam Jolene John needs to stop being the foundation members of FET and get to the table to the people that she has massively brought on abrupt holes in their business and hurt their financial position.
At a reported cost of US $25,000 per day, she said better options were certainly out there. The Port Authority has not indicated whether additional contingency measures are in place should the Blue Wave Harmony face further setbacks. Stefan Nicholas, CNC3 News.
And that was Sunday. That was yesterday.
Yep.
So what Miss John did today was damage control.
But that's what it was. That's what it was.
Damage control. Run out there with somebody with a cell phone from she office.
Yeah.
Come fast. Let me go on by the port. Call the port CEO. Tell the port CEO to meet me by the Blue Wave now.
Yeah.
And then you have people want to text me to tell me. Well, let me read it again. I want to read it for you. Pastor, why you have the former senator going through all that for tonight, boy? I have no issue with the Blue Wave. It have no issue. It have no issue with the Blue Wave. Well, here what now? If it have no issue with the Blue Wave, then let me talk about Fally going to CARICOM.
Yeah.
Let me forget that. Tesla stop doing live about the Blue Wave, eh?
Yeah. Brother, I will continue to do it until the system works properly.
Slap, you need to relax yourself.
Yeah.
You need to relax yourself because at the end of the day, why I have you on beating up yourself with this issue? That's what people. That's what. That's
no. I'm not sure the post who sent that message. I guess it's a lot of sarcasm, but I'm not sure if that person is a Tobagonian and feel the pain that we feeling.
Tobagonians feeling pain, by?
Plenty, but then they're eating it, I guess.
You think so, boy?
Yeah, I feel so. No, I think so, I know so.
You on the ground. Yeah, what, eh? I feel like coming to Tobago, and you have to drive me around for me to hear for myself. That people... You see, all right, you see, you just back out of me coming. Why you doesn't want me in Tobago, boy? What the marks is on it? Why you doesn't want me in Tobago, boy?
All right, so yeah, what? So you just
I comment for a day.
Playing a news clip. Wait, you was playing a news clip before where some people had some comments. Why am play the comments? Okay. Don't take my word for it.
If I play them comments, you gonna be in your glee.
But I don't need to listen to them comments to be my.
Why you don't want me? Why you don't want me? Why you don't want me to come? Let me come first hand.
But I tell you, come here, stop here for coming. You are a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. You need passport to come here,
All this man talking to me.
All you need is one form of ID. One form of ID to board either the ferry or the plane.
Yeah, but you want to meet me in the airport?
I have no problem with that, brother. Just make sure you tell me the time you're coming properly, so I can put my house in order. I have things to do in Tobago, Let me talk about the man going St. Kitts now.
Let me talk about Now, let me tell you something, eh? When I hear the man going St. Kitts, I mean, honestly, right? When I hear the man going St. Kitts, I say, well, what is really going on here? First, the beginning, the Prime Minister wasn't going nowhere. She wasn't going that place. Like, be real. Look how long reporters asking Sobers. Is the Prime Minister going to we will let you all know. Is the Prime Minister going to, we will let you all know. Is the last minute when she hear we name from America?
Secretary of State?
Yes. When she heard that he was going to be there, what did she do? She decided that, all right, I will be there.
She going? Yeah. Yeah.
How much fools will they go take we?
Huh?
How much fools they really think we are, boy?
Well, boy. How much seats? 25 seats in the parliament and 15 in Tobago. There you go. You have your answer right there. You have your answer right there, brother.
I hear you.
15 million Tobago and 25 or 13?
Let me go. Let me go and hear what the man going to be. Let me hear the man going Is it study good and the good it is? Let me hear what the man St. Kitts. Let me hear what the man had to say now. Only the Prime Minister carrying the man St. Kitts? Or she carrying him or he going already? He going today or tomorrow?
They going already?
They going already?
Yeah, they leave today.
You know, Islam only the front, you know. Trinidad's really the front, you know. You know, if Dr. Rowley had left this country, listen to me. This issue with this boat going on, right? And the car want to be going and so have food and they can't feed their livestock and the different and Dr. Rowley pick up himself and call on a plane. Islam, you know, you are all on that call, man, tell me. But it's a bad political move the man make there. You would not do that? Right.
Let me talk about why the man goes.
All right. We going to play why the man goes to
right.
My friend, no want to talk. But the reality of it is that the man should have never leave in the first place.
Go on now, man. Play the clip now, man.
All right.
Well, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has invited the Chief Secretary to join her CARICOM delegation to St. Kitts and Nevis from Tuesday through Friday. Augustine plans to use the opportunity to engage officials on their governance structure.
St. Kitts Nevis has extremely progressive laws when it comes to the autonomy for Nevis. And the Prime Minister, and I want to thank the Prime Minister in this regard, has signaled that we should think as progressive as the people in St. Kitts Nevis in building out our framework for autonomy.
Augustine says he will meet Nevis's Premier St. Kitts Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew and other CARICOM leaders. He has set a December 31st deadline for autonomy laws to be passed in Parliament. Well, Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has invited the Chief Secretary to join her CARICOM delegation to St. Kitts and Nevis from Tuesday through Friday. Augustine plans to use the opportunity to engage officials on their governance structure.
St. Kitts Nevis has extremely progressive laws when it comes to the autonomy for Nevis. And the Prime Minister, and I want to thank the Prime Minister in this regard, has signaled that we should think as progressive as the people in St. Kitts Nevis in building out our framework for autonomy.
Augustine says he will meet Nevis's Premier St. Kitts Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew and other CARICOM leaders. He has set a December 31st deadline for autonomy laws to be passed in Parliament.
Wow. My brother, I played it. What say thou?
Well, first thing, right? I have no problem. I have no problem with with the Prime Minister inviting the Chief Secretary to go with her to a CARICOM heads of government. That is the Prime Minister's prerogative, right? I have no problem with that. I look forward to the Chief Secretary stating that he has a December 31st. And that's why I said this man is the de facto MP for Tobago East and West. And he seems to also be, well, what I find interesting is that he says that he's given a December 31st deadline for autonomy laws to be placed in the parliament, right? So I guess conversations he's had with the Prime Minister and the Attorney General, so okay, fine. What is interesting for me is that you are going to use, or you're going to syndicates, to have a conversation about syndicates autonomy and the model that is syndicates and Nevis. But I don't know if you paid attention to the MP for Aruka. The MP for Aruka placed a press release today that spoke to that issue, because the MP for Aruka was the chairman of the Joint Select Committee that dealt with the autonomy bills for Tobago, the Constitutional Amendment Bill and the Island Government Bill. And so the MP said, and I agree with the MP's position, that to begin with, and I'm reading from the press release.
Read the press release first. I didn't get it.
Right.
Maybe I'm not part of that email list.
You're not part of that email list?
Yeah, maybe I'm not a part of that email list. I didn't get it.
What's today's date?
Today's the 23rd.
Right, the 23rd of February, 2026.
Beautiful. I didn't get that email.
And I'm reading the press release. There's a press release.
Okay, all right.
To begin with, I have no objection, and this is what the MP said. So let me get the constituency correct. The MP for Trin City Maloney.
That is Miss Camille Robinson Regis.
That's right. I have no objection to the visit itself. My concern, this is the MP writing, lies with a particular justification I heard that St. Kitts Nevis has a similar constitutional structure to Trinidad and Tobago, and that there could be valuable lessons for Tobago's governance, which is a complete lie. The governance structure and the makeup of St. Kitts Nevis and Trinidad and Tobago are diametrically opposed to each other. The St. Kitts Nevis model of governance is a federal system. And the federal system was rejected by Tobagonians when it came to autonomy for Tobago. The Tobagonians say we don't want a federal system. We just want greater devolution of power when it comes to Tobago. That is what was said, right? So I stopped. So I'm going to continue again.
Mm-hmm.
The position conflicts with the record. Having served as chairman of that Joint Select Committee, I feel it is incumbent on me, and I'm quoting here, to set the record straight. The government and the THA administration have a penchant for revising the record. During the Joint Select Committee consideration of the Tobago's Autonomy Bill under the last government, the same Chief Secretary Fali Augustine expressly rejected the St. Kitts Nevis model. The committees benefited from detailed guidance from Delano Bat, King's Counsel, he is then Queen's Counsel, former Attorney General of St. Kitts Nevis, who outlined the practical and constitutional limitations of that arrangement. His advice materially informed the refinement of Tobago's proposal and the provision ultimately contained in the bills that emerged from the committee's work. And so the Chief Secretary now is saying that he's going and talk to the Premier Nevis and the Prime Minister of St. Kitts, because the model in St. Kitts, we could learn some lessons, or the model is similar to Trinidad and Tobago. It is not. And Google, if I were, I could give you some more details.
Give us.
The federal structure in St. Kitts Nevis, the country has a federal government based in Basseterre, St. Kitts, responsible for foreign affairs, defense, national security, citizenship, immigration, currency, and central banking, overall national policy. Nevis Island Administration has its own autonomous government, separate from the federal government. Nevis has its own premier, its own island assembly legislature, its own cabinet, its own executive. It is not simply local government, it is constitutionally entrenched autonomy. The legislative powers of Nevis include education, health, agriculture, land, physical planning, tourism, local infrastructure. The federal parliament cannot normally override Nevis in these assigned areas unless constitutionally permitted. This is a key feature. The powers are constitutionally protected, not delegated by ordinary law. Now, one of the things that Tobago would have benefited from the autonomy bills is that the Tobago Island government would have been enshrined in the Constitution, because as it currently stands now, the Tobago House of Assembly is not enshrined in the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. Right? And if my memory serves me right, it could take a simple majority to dissolve the Tobago House of Assembly. But what the island government, the constitutional amendment bill was seeking to do was to enshrine the Tobago Island government in the Constitution, right? Nevis has authority over raising certain taxes within Nevis, managing its own budget, borrowing subject to constitutional rules. Revenue collected in Nevis for Nevis matters is administrated by the Nevis Island Administration. However, federal taxes still apply nationally. You also have representation at the federal level, so Nevis is represented in the federal parliament. And that's the thing that we would have to understand, is that in a federal government, in a federal system, you basically have two parliaments running the country. And you have representation in the federal parliament. But one of the key things that is here for Nevis is that Nevis has a secession clause. Right? The most distinctive element of the system is that Nevis has a constitutional right to secede. Under the Constitution, Nevis Island Assembly can pass a resolution for independence. A referendum must then be held. If 2/3 of voters in Nevis approve Nevis can legally separate from the Federation. Right? Nevis actually held such a referendum in 1998. It received a majority, but not the 2/3 that is in the Constitution. Right? The secession safeguard is often what makes the model particularly strong and unique. So there is no, if you want to say there's similarity, there's some similarity in that we have, and the Tobago House of Assembly is not even a legislature because it's unable to pass laws, which is one of the benefits that we would have had the island government bill and the constitutional amendment bill was passed under the previous PNM administration. And so when the Chief Secretary says he's going to have conversations, I want to know if he has reneged on his position and is now looking at a federal system for Trinidad and Tobago. If that is the conversation that is being had between him and the Prime Minister, then you need to come back to the Tobagonian and say to the Tobagonian, and all the consultations that took place under the forum of political parties over London and Ho Choy Charles and all the political leaders in Tobago, except for the leader of Ethiopia at the time. The the conversations that they had with Tobagonians said, we do not want a federal system. What we want is a unique model for Trinidad and Tobago, which gives the Tobago House of Assembly additional powers. But the conversation about secession and federalism was rejected by Tobagonians. And so if that is the direction that the Chief Secretary is currently seeking to go, he needs to come back to the Tobagonians and have wide consultation on these matters.
Maybe, Mr. Hislop, his consultation would have been the vote that he got in the Tobago House
Well,
of
maybe
Assembly
15,
election.
the 15 seats.
Yep.
Maybe he's taken that as his right to do what he wants.
Yep.
Yeah. And so as I said, if the Prime Minister decides to carry the Chief Secretary to the CARICOM heads of government, that's her prerogative. But please come clean with your rationale and your reasoning, Mr. Chief Secretary. And I hope that when he returns, that he can give a full report on the conversations he had with the Premier and the Prime Minister, and to give Tobagonians a clear idea of the direction that we head in where autonomy is concerned. Because he has said that he's given a timeline, a deadline of December 31st for bills to be brought to the Parliament, Tobago's autonomy.
So he's given it until the end of this year.
Well, that's what he said. That's what the news report just said.
But do you think that that's possible?
Brother, I don't know. The Parliament, the UNC has the constitutional, has the what is the 3/4 majority? What majority do they have now? They have the majority. They have the majority to pass the bills. They could pass the bills, you know. The only place that you could find that you may get a hang up is in the Senate. But they have the majority in the lower house to pass the bill. Especially if they want the Tobago House of Assembly or the island government, they choose to still go with the names. Because you see, you know what is laughable and interesting, right? Is that the last amendments that they made the Tobago House of Assembly Act to get the additional secretaries because currently we have just as we have the largest cabinet in the history of Trinidad and Tobago, we have the largest executive council in the history of Tobago. So, interestingly though, those amendments that they brought recently were amendments that they took out of the same bills that they rejected. Because the changing the name of an assemblyman to assembly member, that's in the bill that they rejected. Allowing the Chief Secretary to have unlimited in terms of the size of the Executive Council. It's in the bill. And so it's just amazing that the same bill that you rejected, you are now taking pieces of that. You're now taking pieces, the same thing you accused the PNM for doing when the PNM changed the number of seats in Tobago from 12 to 15. That 15, that number of 15 is in the bill. And they cost left, right, and center. And say, oh, you're going to do that? No. It's the same thing that they do now. They're taking pieces of the bills and passing them. And so, truth is, they have the majority, so, and the system that we operate under, the Westminster system, you have the majority, so you could make the changes that you desire at your own man fancy. And the opposition, people like me who support the opposition party, member of the opposition party, you just had to take that. All you could do is talk. But you do have the power.
Wow. So you're saying that, and just so people who are now joining in on the live and you want to know what we're talking about, and I'm listening attentively because there are some things that you're saying, Mr. Hislop, that somehow worries me, boy. Worries me. And I don't think people don't understand that when you give people power.
Yeah.
You know the elders have a saying?
Yeah.
Power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you're saying that this same Fali Augustine, when would have said that they don't want a federation government in Tobago.
Yeah, federal system, yeah.
They don't want a federal system in Tobago. But the Navis, where he going to talk to, he going and try to, because, and let's not fool ourselves. This is not a visit. This is not a pre-organized visitation. This is something that he's going to try to get a conversation with them about. Right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I guess based on the fact that the Prime Minister invited him, that they may have reached out, because I remember I think is the Prime Minister of St. Kitts came recently, paid a visit to the Prime Minister here. And so I don't know if conversations like that took place. We don't know. We don't. So, but the point is, and it is not, what is not important to me. That's not important to me whether or not it was prearranged. What's important to me is what seems to be you reneging on a position that you had. Now, it is said that a man that is only a fool doesn't change his mind. But if you have changed your mind, then you need to come to the Tobagonian and say to the Tobagonian, this is what we're doing. And that's why I said I am hoping that when he returns, it's not something that he's accustomed doing. I'm hoping that when he returns, he comes and he addresses the Tobago public and says, this is the direction. And then also, if it is that you have given yourself a timeline, I don't know, you're not in the parliament, but your friends are in the parliament. You have given yourself the deadline of December of this year for bills to come to the parliament to bring about additional autonomy for Tobago. Then you are required, well, not by law, but just by law, because you're supposed to have public consultations, but just by being a good leader, the level of consultations that we had prior to the THA bills being sent to the parliament, right? That is what you require now. If you have changed your position, and you have to come to the Tobagonian and say to the Tobagonian, well, the federal system, well, let's try the federal system. But I want for us to be careful with that thing, because the federal system says what you make here, you keep. And what you make there, you keep. That is how our federal system works. And then you also have federal taxes. So then what does that, how do we then factor in this subvention that Tobago gets from the national budget? All of that was part of the conversation.
You get nothing. You get nothing.
You have a 6.8% minimum with a what's the name of the committee? You have a 6.8 minimum. A fiscal review commission was also part of the island government bills, and also arrangements for sharing of resources that may come out of Trinidad and out of what may be considered quote unquote Tobago waters. And so if you have now changed your position, you need to come back to the Tobagonian and say to the Tobagonian, hey, well, and you really say the federal system ain't gonna work, but this is what we're trying. And you have to say why. Because the people at the consultation said we do not want a federal system. The people at the consultation said we are not interested in secession. The people at the consultation says what we need is greater devolution of power, greater autonomy for Tobago within the unitary state of Trinidad and Tobago. That is what the people said. But
the people may have changed their mind because
The
they have
people
now
may have changed
voted
their mind.
because they have now voted the blue wave.
right, but if you've done that, if you are now taking your 15 seats, granted that you got 16,000 votes, PNM got 10, and if you put the PNM 10 and the people who didn't vote, you get less than everybody else. So you still have to, by rights, come back and speak to the people. So you can't just say because you got 15 seats. So we know the Westminster system first past the post, right? And when I hear things like Tobago takes a historical seat at CARICOM, I don't even know if people understand the foolishness that is. You are not taking a seat at CARICOM. You were invited as part of the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago's team, but you're not taking a seat at CARICOM. You can engage in fringe conversations. Okay, fine. We are hoping that benefits come out of those conversations for Tobago. But you are not taking a seat at CARICOM. And I said, and listen, I am hopeful that if you go and you have conversations and those conversations benefit Tobago, I'll say I'm happy Tobagonian if we get benefits from those things. But if I am to go by the track record of the first term of this administration, it is the most traveled administration, and we have had nothing in return for the amount of travel these people have traveled. Nothing. No FDIs. No additional arrivals to Tobago. We were promised 100,000 arrivals within the first year of their first term. The numbers have dwindled. I am having a conversation with a hotel owner yesterday, and the only reason why she is not underwater is because of her own marketing strategy. She cannot depend on any marketing from the THA. Because she said to me she was scared for 2026 until she started to see the work that they were doing paying off in terms of the bookings. She can't depend on the THA. You have 2 flights a week. 2 flights a week. What kind of tourism is that? You have places like Antigua, 18 flights a day. You have 2 flights a week, and you're talking about a tourism product. So we're hoping that your fringe conversations can bring about some level of benefit for the average Tobagonian. Yeah?
Wow.
But as I said, we wait to see what will be the results of your visit to St. Kitts and Nevis. And if it is that you are keen to change the model, then you have to say to Tobagonians, I'm changing the model. I'm proposing that we change the model of governance. And you see, if you do a federal system now, you have to also have major consultations in Trinidad. Because a federal system is not only going to affect Tobago, but it means a different governance structure for Trinidad as well.
I mean, you might have to get a visa to come to Tobago.
Oh God, no. The United States is a federal government. Google.
But if he decide that he want a visa system,
all right, okay.
Like if he had been like Trump.
No, but seriously, these things, the last 2 things that we've been talking about tonight, these things that we've talking about tonight, are really critical to Tobago's growth and Tobago's development, and the direction that Tobago is going to take within the next few years. So we are hoping for the benefit of every that the thing is done right, is done properly, so that we all benefit. And you see, when Tobago benefits, Trinidad as well benefit. You know, if I'm to just swing back on the boat issue, it's amazing how Dr. Rowley made a statement about his farm and the level of vitriol that was spewed at him for that statement. And really and truly, he who feels it knows it, And a lot of people who are making the comments they're making about Tobagonians and what we're dealing with, even some of us right here, it's because because it's not touching you, it's not touching your pocket. Because I said on another platform this morning that you are hearing some people talking out now and seeing some people talking out that you've never heard and seen talk before, because they are now feeling the effects. Businesses, small restaurants, caterers, I think I mentioned it earlier as well. They are now feeling the effects of what's going on. And so this is where we are as an island. And if I ask people the question, are you better off? That's the question people have to ask themselves. Am I better off than I was prior to where we are now, prior to April 28th, prior to January 12th? Am I better off? Yeah.
I want to open up the phone lines for people to call in.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
And ask you and share their view on the issues that we're discussing this evening.
But before you open the phone lines, and you see, as you do that, there's a lot of tokenism taking place to distract people from. For us in Tobago, a major issue is the ferry. And so I see the taking of the chief secretary as tokenism. I see it as tokenism. There's a lot of tokenism taking place. And sometimes you get to the point where you get tired, Google. Where you get tired. But Bible says you can't be weary in well doing it. So we gotta keep fighting.
Oh, so you know how
let's take your callers, man.
So you know how I just feel at times then?
Yeah, I know.
Because
when you're in the public domain, brother, and you are passionate about something, and you see the complete opposite. It can be daunting, it can be depressing. And what we have seen in the last 4 years of the administration, well, they've been re-elected, and then the partnership that we've seen with central government, what we have been receiving is a lot of photo ops and tokenism. Because somebody says that the Minister of Works and Infrastructure is walking a lot, doing nothing. A lot of photos, and then you're going to make a statement as what is all the hysteria about.
Yeah.
The hysteria is that businessmen are losing money. $1 million, $500,000 in a month. Businessmen are losing money. Hardwares are saying that they're losing $15,000 every day. That is not hysteria. That is reality. Minister of Works and Infrastructure says she's dealing with the facts. We're dealing with the facts. We are dealing with the facts. Truckers have gone from 5 trips a week to 3. That is almost a 50% slash in their income. That's the facts that we're dealing with.
Yeah.
It's not hysteria. It's facts.
Let's take this call.
Small caterers and large caterers. You can't get flour in the grocery. Google.
Wow.
That's not hysteria. That's facts. You can't get bottled water. That's not hysteria. That's facts. You can't get cement. You can't get lumber. You can't get steel. That's not hysteria, bro. That's facts. That's what we're dealing with on this island. And to hear a Tobagonian, a born Tobagonian minister saying that is hysteria, Come on. And as you rightly say, they're contradicting themselves because she's saying nothing in law. It's hysteria. And the chief secretary saying he's sorry. So who do I believe? Who do I believe?
Wow. Let's take this caller. Hello, good evening.
Yes. Hi, good evening, Pastor Google. Good evening, Mr. Hislop.
Yeah, good night, sir.
Mr. Hislop, I have a question to ask you, right? And the people here and privately Tobagonians, I want to find out, you think Tobagonians will see the light? Because I saw a comment put out with Dr. Rowley concerned that this thing is affecting his animals. He have a farm.
Yeah.
And the amount of disrespect from certain Tobagonians in the island. This man was your prime minister. All I have no respect for the man. Some of you wasn't born as it. This man was a big man. Some of you wasn't born as it. And the amount of disrespect comments I saw on Facebook page concerning this man. Only man complain about look the first service is affecting his animals. Right? You even mentioned that the veterinary even attending his animals. What kind of thing is that?
Yeah.
The mentality is
I would. Yeah.
It is very stink. I have a question. I said, so what happened? Oh, you see the PNM, so much what happened? PNM can we need to Tobago seat again? Is the UNC now? Huh? That's the level
I have heard people say that his animals should die.
Right? That is level. That is wickedness. That is ungratefulness to the max. Now I understand why some Trinidadians are not coming to Tobago to have no vacation because certain people have a nasty attitude. Listen yourself, or they have a hard work to do up there, you know. I am very sorry, but I kind of lost faith in some of them Tobagonians, and I'm sorry. I lost faith. Their thinking is on the same level as a UNC supporter. It is nasty to the core. And I see that thing with Dr. Rowley and that disrespect. Nah. I ain't accepting that. I ain't accepting that at all. I'm sorry. You have a good night, sir. I hope you get a good leader.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Wow. 464-7003. 464-7003. You can call and share your views on the issues we have raised this evening. Today was Tobago Day on Constructive Talk. We only talk Tobago matters. It has so much other matters, but I had to give my brother the time to share with the listeners and the viewers of Constructive Talk what is happening in Tobago. Is it really affecting Tobagonians? Is it not? How Tobagonians are feeling about this? I want to say one thing to you, and this is how I feel, especially about Mr. Fally Augustine going to Tobago. To going to the what do you call it? CARICOM. And he want to meet with Navis and whatever. You know, I've never heard people from or leaders in the Navis saying ill things and nasty things about the leaders in
St. Kitts?
No, never. I never heard the vitriol, the hate and the bitterness coming out from them. So if there's one thing I want you to come back with, Mr. Fally, is the love that they have for one another in that space.
Yeah.
Let's take this call.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. While I agree with certain things, Pastor Google, you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Yeah, I don't know if Ole could help me out with this situation because could you answer for me, Mr. Keith Rowley, while he had the tenure of the last 10 years and he had all the power within his possession or wherever what, wasn't all these things easy thing to fix concerning Tobago? That to come now to pressurize Fally and Camilla, whatever. Well, now listen me go there. I'm not blaming, I'm not accusing, but I feel Mr. Keith Rowley, as a Tobagonian and the Prime Minister for the last year, could have done better for Tobago. Thank you, fellas. I
Don't come off. Don't come off.
Huh?
Don't come off the call. Don't come off the call.
I don't want to be biased. No.
No, listen to this. I want you to answer. I want you to just explain to us what are the things exactly are you talking about?
Yeah.
Because he bought 2 fast ferries. He bought 2 fast ferries for Tobago. He had yes, they're working very good. Brand new.
So what happened to them right now?
Nothing is happening to them. The problem that I have is with the Blue Wave
cargo vessel.
The cargo vessel which the UNC brought in. This vessel is we had the Cabo Star. Listen to me. Tobago had a vessel called the Cabo Star that used to bring all of their goods and services across. When the Cabo Star said that they were leaving on the 12th of January, the UNC was supposed to procure a vessel to carry across cargo. They procured a vessel by the name of the Blue Wave, and the Blue Wave is having issues.
Yep.
This has nothing to do with Dr. Rowley now. Dr. Rowley would have gotten a boat by the name of the Cabo Star, and Dr. Rowley would have purchased 2 brand new vessels for Tobago, which is operating very good.
And the same galleon's passenger people who was knocking when it came.
Yeah, but
so it's
the 2 vessels operating very good.
Purchased.
Why Tobago have shortage?
And like we just said to you, because the UNC would have brought a boat by the name of the Blue Wave.
Yeah, but the boat get damaged and they fix it another. You see the news tonight where when he asked the CEO of the port, already watching the news, and he asked when Jolene John, you hear me?
I'll be listening to you.
Jolene John, the ex-prime minister of what's coming on, asked the CEO of the port, is there any cargo leave back to go to Tobago? And the CEO of the port, which you cannot deny, said there is no cargo here. Everything is going up or whatever.
No, that's not what she said. No. What she said, there's no cargo there, and there's a reason why there's no cargo there. You are not allowed to leave any cargo there. So what the CEO didn't lie. The CEO is saying the policy. Wait, just now, the CEO is just laying out the policies of the port. The policy. No. Nothing ain't gone up.
Google just now, I want to also say something. If the vessel is functioning the way it should function, sir, no cargo is ever left behind because of the size of even before the Blue Wave Harmony. The problem we are having is that the vessel is not functioning properly. We are accustomed to getting a 1-day turnaround prior to now. Now we are having 2 days, sometimes 3 days. The vessel is now leaving Trinidad tonight at 9 o'clock. When over the years, the schedule for the vessel to leave Trinidad is at 2 p.m. and get to Tobago at 9 p.m. Now the vessel is leaving at 9 p.m. It is going to dock in Tobago in the morning. And those are the problems that we are having, sir. There is no reliability on the sea bridge with the cargo. And so we have been struggling for the last 7 weeks. And you see, if some of us understand what we feel in Tobago, there's some people who have never visited Tobago, some people just come to Tobago for the weekend, but we live here. And so we feel it. When you can't get flour in the supermarket, because one of the major distributors of flour on the island put a truck on a barge a couple weeks ago, and the information I have is that the seawater wet down the whole batch of flour. To this day, I don't even know if that distributor is back and opened yet, and is the major supplier of flour in Tobago. And those are the kinds of things we're talking about, my brother.
All right, caller. All right, so you're not there. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Yes, caller. So that's the answer to your question. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Evening, sir. Good evening, Senator Hislop. Listen, I like how you handled the caller previously possible, but the facts are this, right? Brother people, when people talk about, I address it frontally. When people talk about the power that Dr. Rowley had. Yeah, he was the prime minister, but the PNM administration did not have the power to affect things in Tobago because they didn't have the required majority to change the constitution by themselves.
Thank you, sir.
PNM had to bend over backwards to consult. You see, and I always say, right, my beef with the PNM when the PNM has power is that the PNM does not use power to its advantage. And some people would say abuse. And when PNM is in opposition, the people who get that power, like this government administration, in the second iteration, who have the required majority to change the constitution, what they are about, Mama Guy, and the seat, right? And people have to recognize that, right? And for example, when people look at, all right, so they're going to send kids and Nevis. You know what people forget? Pastor Ugola, I know, Mr. Senator Hislop would appreciate this. In 1967, there was almost a war when Anguilla wanted to secede from the unit with St. Kitts and Nevis. Anguilla is the smallest territory overseas control besides Montserrat that still has affiliation to England because they refused to be part of the unit of St. Kitts and Nevis. Correct. And the federation that obtains now with St. Kitts and Nevis was as a result of a referendum by the population of those two islands who decided to have this federal system of government. And they said to the UK, hey, this is what we want. The UK, as the overseas colonial body, allowed that situation to be involved. So when I hear people talking about Tobago as a colony at Trinidad and Tobago were two colonies joined together by the fiat of the British Parliament. Correct. Nobody had any say because Trinidad was a crown colony. Crown colony government meant that was the system that was put in place when the British came in 1797 to directly rule all colonies. They were no longer allowed assemblies like in Barbados, Antigua and so on, Jamaica and so on. They did not allow Trinidad to develop that way. The town colony system was a new form of colonial administration. We were the guinea pigs for that. And that went on till a century, 18, 19, when they made to go a war after that. People must understand these things. It is the PNM who gave Tobago the House of Assembly in 1980 after consultations after 1977. And listen, people don't know the power. The PNM had all 26 seats after 1971. They did not abuse that. And they could have. Now people don't understand. So I'm saying to people, if there is this historical benefit of information, you will be fair. There were extensive consultations between Tobago and House of Assembly bills that were brought up in 2024. Right? But you know what happened? A man swim, a mama guy swim in 2017 when the situation with respect to the sea bridge was not bad. And I want to give this one. You know, part of the deal with getting the APT zones and the Boko Reef would have the central government would have been able to access the agreement with the Australian government who were going to build a dedicated cargo ferry for Trinidad and Tobago. That was the next part of the agreement when we had paid off the majority of the agreement that was used to bring those two ferries here. Am I lying, Senator Hislop?
Yeah, you're correct.
That was
Very
the
correct.
arrangement. So
Yep.
we would have had a dedicated cargo boat of our own, like those two ferries, before the end of this decade. That was the plan.
Yep. That was the plan. And that was the plan put in place by Dr. Rowley.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, gentlemen.
All right.
All right. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. You continue to take your calls. We're taking a few more calls before we close off. All right, 464-7003. If you're living in Tobago and you want to call in, you want to chime in, Tobagonians, there's the opportunity to chime in here, you know. Yeah, if you agree with former Senator Hislop, you could call in. If you disagree, you could call in. If you agree, you could call in. Just have your say on Constructive Talk this evening. 464-7003. 464-7003. That is the number to call in to be a part of Constructive Talk. Yeah. Well, Senator, you keep some numbers here, boy. Your numbers hot here, boy. You alone and your numbers hot, so what? I better give you we had to organize a night for Tobago alone.
On a good platform.
Yeah, you had to give you a night by yourself. Hello, good evening.
Pastor Google.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
I have one question and one Senator Hislop to ask Farley and them for me, please. Ask Farley and them which Caribbean island, name one Caribbean island have a better standard of living than Tobago in today's present society. Let it name one. Seeing that they're always talking all this hatred about PNM and do nothing for Tobago and Tobago this and Tobago that. Let them, please, ask them that question. I've been trying to get that question asked the Farley and them for the longest while.
That's a very good question.
Another thing, right? My both parents are Tobagonian. And for about 10 to 12 years, I stopped coming to Tobago. Now, I live abroad, but I come home all the time. I used to come to Tobago. Tobago need to stop this hatred with us spewing against Trinidadian. I have only started coming back to Tobago within the last 2 years. And I'm saying that to say, the reason is that when you sit down and hear this kind of discord with some of the Tobago people talk against Trinidadian, bro, I want somebody to also tell me, name 2 Tobagonians that don't have relatives to somebody in Trinidad. And Tobago people need to bear that in mind when they're talking, they talk. By now, we all related. All of us are relation to somebody in Tobago from Trinidad.
Correct.
You understand?
Correct.
So it's time that foolish talk start to stop talk. And me, sometimes with my ignorance, the say to myself, I want Tobago to succeed because I know the benefits they gain right now with this Trinidad and Tobago. They would not have it. Because I just travel a lot, and I travel the Caribbean, I travel all over the world, and just go and come. And when I go to the Caribbean islands and them who's solely dependent on tourism, they're no way in Tobago class. None of them.
That's true.
So people in Tobago need to wake up when they have these leaders and them, so-called leaders and them spewing all these hatred and misinformation to them. And let them travel. Let them take a little boat and go up the islands and tell me which Caribbean island that could match the standard of living in Tobago. I went to Tobago the other day, last year. And one of my friends, a real good friend from Tobago too, his daughter moved back home to Tobago. She will live abroad for like 40 years or so. And so she take me and carry me around in Tobago. And I was like, wow, I feel like I've been in Tobago for the first time. Because she carried me places that I don't remember even seeing. And I mean, she took me up Buku, Pigeon Point down there. And I mean, those places are going, but the place looks so different in terms of how the development and thing come in. And when I sit down, and let me put it on the table, I support PNM 100%. Because I always come home and I always vote and all kind of thing. You understand? But People in Tobago need to wake up and stop allow the misinformation to be guiding the decision. They need to do that because it's going to reach a point where people in Trinidad at some point in time go say enough is enough too. You understand? Because I have already come to that point, and I want to repeat, my both parents are from Tobago. My father from Scarborough, my mother from Charlottesville. And I personally stopped coming to Tobago because of when I hear Crystalline Moore say put Visine in the water when they come to Tobago. I sit down and I waited a few weeks to hear if the people who in Tobago just talk the loudest would have come out and tell Crystalline Moore something about if she crazy or some kind of thing. I didn't hear anybody condemn Crystalline Moore. And I said to myself, well, as far as I know, silence is complicit.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And that is how I see it. But gentlemen, thank you guys for the time. But Senator Islop, do me one favor, please. Ask Fali and them to name one Caribbean island that have a higher standard of living than Tobago, please. Guys, have a good night. I'm listening.
Right.
Caller, I want to thank you. Caller, before you come off, you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I want to thank you very much for calling in. I really put from my heart. I want to thank you for calling in. You have given another perspective on the whole conversation, and you know what? You know what I like about what you said, sir? You was being real and open. You didn't butter it up, and you could say it. I can't say what you just said there because if I say what you just said, when I go to Tobago, I could get some clout. But you see, you saying it, there's a level of respect.
I am considered a Tobagonian.
Yeah.
Because like I said, my mother and father is both from Tobago. My mother is a Fletcher. My father is a Nancis. So if they have any doubts, doubts after what I saying tonight, and on Tobagonian need to stop that kind of hatred talk. We could talk the politics. But let me tell you something here, brother. Let me tell you this quick before I go. You know, one of the things that we have a couple of friends that real black conscious. And you know, one of the things we used to admire most about Tobago, when we come to Tobago, we could see black people owning business in Tobago. You know how proud that does make us feel? Tobago people understand what I am saying, that when you leave Trinidad and you go to Tobago and you see black people owning business running, you say to yourself, yes, we have a chance as a people.
Yeah.
Fali and them understand what's going on. Let me tell you something. I tell one of my real brethren for over 45 years, the same one who take me around Tobago. He from Tobago. Me and my real brethren. And when Fali and them was running, I say, you think Fali and them understand in this moment what they're dealing with in terms of the survival of black people, African people, and the consciousness of what they're doing now? And you think them fellas and them understand? Them fellas and them just happy to be in power, but they don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah,
they don't understand the destruction they're causing with the way they're operating. And you know the sad thing is, we will wait until the destruction complete, and then people will get up and say, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. People need to wake up. We African people need to wake up because the writing is on the wall and we've seen it in front of face every day. So all who kidding and fooling themselves, let me go ahead. We go feel it at one point in time.
And that's why, caller, and that's why every time I start my program, I play the clip from Pastor Jamal Bryant. It's time for us to wake up.
Pastor Google, I listened to you since you was by the other place working the night shift, Me listening to you now,
Thank you.
Since you were doing the night shift by the other place, I listening to you, You know how much night you make me and sleep all night and I had to go to work next day? I living out in New York because I stay up listening to what you're saying and thing.
Yeah.
Me and talking, hatred and thing, But I talking we as African people need to get conscious, bro.
Yeah.
We need to get conscious.
Yeah.
And Tobago people more than ever, they right now holding the fort for a lot of African people who conscious enough to understand what's going on. And this is the foolishness that we have to deal with Fali and them don't have understanding as to what's going on. Bro, nothing wrong with loving your own, you know. Nothing wrong with loving your own, because all the other races love their own, you know. All other races love their own, you know. And it's time we start to love our own and stand up with each other and try to help each other and build for each other. But I is only one person could say that. We I don't know. Sometimes I feel lost when I look at black people and we're not understanding what's going on. I asked one of my friends the other day, I said, boy, you think there's any hope for us still, boy? He said yes. He said he still believe that we go turn the corner.
Was it that fellas like Hislop and me are wrong, we go turn the corner, man?
Pastor Google, bro, from where I sit, that corner long and wide, brother.
That is all right. We will fight.
Well, we had a fight, you know. We had a fight. But I listened to the gentleman called just now and blaming Dr. Rowley. I want to know, I say to myself, sometimes when you hear them, when you hear them, Pastor Google, you don't really feel it have any word fighting. Big grown men like that be talking them kind of ignorance that for the 10 years that Dr. Oli been there and all the struggle Dr. Oli been going through to try to give Tobago. Tobago get the most development under any prime minister in one sitting from Dr. Rowley. Nobody cannot dispute that.
Can't dispute
the most development Tobago see in one period was under Dr. Rowley. He's still talking about Dr. Rowley should have put a feed farm. Is he aware that governance is continuance? That is, you cannot do everything in one sitting or in 120 years. Governance evolves.
And this is after coming out of a pandemic, eh? Or
after coming out of a pandemic? Yeah. So what you expected Dr. Roy to do? Set up a feed mill in Tobago? So that is for private enterprise to come in and do these things.
Correct. And then not only that, agriculture falls squarely under the Tobago House of Assembly.
Exactly. You understand? Yeah. And I read in Dr. Oli's statement where Dr. Oli said, imagine the House of Assembly stop the vets and them from coming to his farm.
The vets. Yep.
Yo, in this day and age, we as African people operating so against we own.
Yep. Well, when you have a situation where a chief secretary can go, based on a recording that we heard, go to a particular place, you don't know where, and have a conversation about a fellow Tobagonian businessman to create an avenue to destroy a fellow Tobagonian businessman, then what do you expect?
Well, listen, Senator Hislop, I know you're saying it, but you in the political arena, so you have to talk nice. But I could tell you, I see what they do to Warner. I see what they try to do to Warner. When Warner family and them come out and say they started to come Trinidad to look for contract to do road, within a month, this UNC start to come with one set of vitriol against the man and saying how that's Rowley friend and Rowley go do thing to get them. And Fali and them sit down and come now and don't want to give Warner and them no contract in Tobago and bringing up contractors from Central to do the work in Tobago and all that Warner and them. Listen, these people and them don't Fali and them ain't ready to lead nobody. And black people have to wake up and understand that we have to stand up and support our own. Every other race does it, you know. Every time we talk about stand up and support we own, everybody want to tell we talking race. But you know, all other races just talk that.
Look up to the Chinese and them want a New Year's Day celebration.
Everybody talk that, Pastor Google. Listen to me. I live in America for 39 years. I know what I'm talking about. I've looked at it, I've seen it, I've recognized it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to support your own and want to see your own people build and survive.
Thank you. All right, caller.
But thank you. Have a good night.
Same to you.
Yeah, well, you too. Thanks.
Yeah.
You sound like if you like to go and sleep, so.
You know the hour night, but we going. Okay, man, I know.
So what are you trying to say?
I just talking about me, partner. I talking about me. You talking about nobody else, you know.
Find a song in sleepy, like if somebody do something.
I am fully awake, man. What's wrong with you?
Just checking now, just making sure.
Nah. I'm fully awake. Fully awake, brother.
Just checking. So you take one more call before you leave, or you want to leave now?
No. Let's take the call.
All right. So I saw somebody was trying to call in just now.
Yeah, we don't leave the callers hanging, man. I saw the minister going and do another video again tonight down on the port to the boat leaving.
She do a next video?
Yeah.
She listen to the program. They listen to the program and they don't get tapping.
And you know the funny thing, is that all of this is as if it is something new. As I tell you, brother, I experience these things. I've lived the life of an inter-island trucker. I've slept on hard coal boat floors. I've slept in cabins in the ferries. I've experienced it.
Let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Yeah.
Good evening to you, Pastor Google.
Good evening, sir.
I was inspired to call into this program at this time. I know you normally close your program, but your co-host is still there, I assume.
You're right here. He ain't going to place.
Right here. The caller before the last, when he had that heartfelt conversation with you about what Tobago has and what, Pastor Google, my both parents are from Tobago. One is from Bonaccord and the next one from Leckett. So I could tell you about this Twin Island Republic that we have here. And I want to tell the people in Tobago, you see all that vitriol and hatred you all have going on, or your own to begin with, a stalwart and a man like Dr. Rowley, who did so much for this republic called Trinidad and Tobago, and did so much for the island of Tobago. The kind of things I'm seeing posted on Facebook, I had to ask myself, my wife and I sit down and say, wait, this is the same man that do so much for this island, still talking about the island, still grooming people, still shaping people with his utterances. And that's the kind of vitriol coming out from the people of Tobago, just over 60-something thousand people in Tobago. Serious? Pastor Google, I had been going to be, my wife and I travel, just like that caller said. We understand what we've seen out there. And you know where we did spend our vacation? The real vacation? In the island of Tobago. I want Tobagonians to listen carefully, In the island of Tobago. We rather spend thousands of dollars in Tobago than to travel to North America or Europe or anywhere else. You know why? When you want a vacation, that is where you go. Because when your feet touch down at Tobago, it's like a woosa effect. It's like you're feeling in a different place. And that's our country. And we're willing to support that. So all the money you spend, if we spend it here, where it could spend by? Or where it should spend. You know what people from abroad, we just tell, hey, you want a real vacation? Come to Tobago. If the Queen could leave and come here. When she go on vacation, who is we by? I don't understand this thing.
Yeah.
It really hurt my heart, Pastor Google and your course, to see how they treat one of the owners. That's told what about Prime Minister called Dr. Rowley, who make a statement and say, I can't feed my sheep and I can't feed my goat. And Pastor Google, if you see the vitriol that come out on Facebook, just like the coach said, animals are dead.
Yep.
You should kill them and feed the family with them. This is the kind of food.
Those are the kind of comments. Yeah.
I just don't understand it. So I want to ask the Tobagonians, who supported all the economy when COVID hit? The same Trinidadians came across, including myself, and stayed in the hotels across there to prop up Tobago's economy. I come across on one of the big jets, and I sat down in what it's called first class. And the air hostess came and said, so you know where you're sitting down? I said, well, okay. So now when I sit, she said, it's exactly with Dr. Rowley and his wife to sit down. I said, well, I'm privileged, and I thank you for letting me know. I'll take that as a nice piece of history on myself. Beautiful. And we went up where the international is low and went across, and listen, on a jet. While COVID was in session, it's Trinidadian support Tobago economy, not to it. Nobody can fly in. So Tobago was propped up. The same Trinidadians that they bad talking. We need to stop that. It's a unified Twin Island Republic we're running here. And Mr. Farley went across there for what I don't know. The same thing he reject, he go and find out about now. So you can make a phone call and ask for the paperwork if you want to know about the federal system and in case needed. I don't understand, no. Somebody had to make it make sense to me. You could have sent an email and get the same information you're going to look for now for 5 days. So everybody is still having a jolly good time in this place.
Yep.
I don't understand it. It had to make sense to the people. And I hope, as the co-host say, when he comes back, he gives a sterling report on what he found out.
What report? Only wait on that.
Yeah, well, I'm being facetious.
Yeah.
But for me, Pastor Google and host, I really, we need to stop this thing. I want to say again, when Minister Hines was in office, you see, we talking about contracts and things and supporting we own. He was one of the fellas that told black contractors, get all yourself together, form associations and bid for those contracts in both Trinidad and Tobago. Come with them. You think we still waiting on them to do it?
Yeah, some of them will do it, man. That some of them will do it. That some of them will get their act together. I remember. Huh?
Were they any minority?
No. Trust me. Remember I tell you this. No. I remember this young man, Mr. Adrian Leons. Mm-hmm. He would have had a workshop and a registration drive in his community for young black men to come and register their business so that they can bid for contracts and they can put their names in the
new procurement system.
The list. I'm forgetting what they call it now.
The fair list. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they did. They did put their names. I remember one of them. He turned against PNM, yes, but he would have called and said that, he would have registered his garbage truck business and he got contracts from AGC. A lot of persons got through, man. A lot of young black businessmen. If you come to San Fernando and you see the waterfront, the startup of that waterfront. It's young black businessmen from San Fernando West who built that. So I can't sit down here and say that they didn't do nothing. They did get their act together. A lot of them got their act together. 3 young black men from San Fernando West built that fishing depot and all those things that you're seeing in San Fernando West that to develop that waterfront. It was young black men. And they gave back to the community. They had back to school drives. They had football tournaments. They had basketball tournaments. Up to today in San Fernando, the biggest basketball youth tournament we have ever seen was held by one of those young black contractors. So I can't sit down here and hear you say that they didn't get their act together. They get their act together. The problem with...
what is the timeline we're talking about? Because when I talk about is when, not the first time they came back in office, and that's 15 to...
Well, that's the time that they were registering. That's the time that they were getting themselves together. That's the time when they were going to the banks and getting their loans to buy their garbage trucks and to get the equipment to be able to... Look, I remember Dr. Rowley. Dr. Rowley would have stood up in Point when he was opening the Point Fortin Highway, and he boasted about a young black man who got the contract to build all the culvert coming straight up. Nah, man, I cast it. I know of young men who would have got their act together.
All right, well, I'm glad to hear that. But just that I was just talking about the statement that was made. But you know what they're driving there, Pastor Google? This current administration is an administration of optics. You know? Everything that them doing is a photo op.
Yeah. Photo op. Yeah.
It's all optics.
And you know,
and that is what, and give Mr. Imbert jacket. Mr. Imbert said it in a meeting. He said in the next incarnation of the PNM, phone had to be, pictures had to be they must be sick because we don't show, the PNM don't show their success. They don't show their success. And let me tell you something, the reality of it is that a lot of young black men and black people who are business people, successful business people, don't want nobody to know. They like to keep the thing silent, quiet.
Is there a reason for that? You know, because something the Bible says so. You know, some things need to be left quiet. But still, I mean, the government themselves. This is what Dominic Roman is talking about. We will get licks in social media for that, and that controls the electionary process. It does. Correct. It does.
Yep.
There are two ways about it, and ban the man from being it's not social media officer. I don't know what they call it, but I mean, this is what we need to have. That drives that information gap that is missing from the PNM. If we don't have that, Pastor.
When in government, they ain't doing it. Then, but I don't know.
Come on, how much time you gotta say it like that?
You're begging people to come and do an interview. Me? I good, yes. We look to go in my bed. Yeah, we look to go in my bed now, slap. You have to work in the morning. And you have 700.
As usual, all right. You have a good night.
You have 794 people know what they love the talk. Hey, slap.
Yeah, but they want to go in the bed.
They're loving the talk. Me and only PLM people, only easy that. Only love the talk. But look. Caller, you really want me to take this call? Have a caller calling in here. Take the call.
Yeah, take it.
Good evening, caller.
Good afternoon. Sorry, I'm not going home. Pastor.
You not going home?
Yeah.
Jolly, are you working hard, boy?
Pastor, this man. It's the greatest. You know what time the board of load? The board of load about, let me say, I started load about 11, 12, for latest. 11, 12. This man coming about 9:30. Walk on the boat. And what is the antics? And asking, are you police CEO at the port to ask sheep if there's any background? Nobody can go on the boat now afloat 2 hours before. The boat now afloat 2 hours before you come. There's something wrong with them. They still believe the campaign. You know? If you see, if you see CEO over this one, if this one can walk on the water, she'll walk on the water. Is that not what she'll walk?
So, caller, let me ask you something. So, you are saying that they came down on the port at what time?
She will come there about 9:30.
Right. And what time the boat came into? What time the boat docked in Portersfield?
That boat must be talking about. I don't know. It could be about 6:30 minutes. Somebody.
So the time they came, the boat was offloaded.
The boat
and they didn't start back to load yet.
The boat now empty.
Yeah. Games.
Only like it so.
And Pastor, you're one. Do you want to come? She pull up in the middle of where everything going on. That she can't park there. She can't park there. So she went down the road. Get the CEO. Come back up the ferry tunnel. Put in front of everybody. Of course, you know she will.
Entourage, whole entourage. The whole entourage.
The Hollywood team. Because if the cameras. And once I think if Pastor, if this one can walk on water, she don't walk on water. If I know she walk. And once Once I tell them campaign done now, once I pay out, shake that one hand, shake this one hand, go on here, go on there. Once I'm madness, boy.
Yeah, when she was on the boat tonight again, she went back on the boat tonight when the boat loaded.
I know.
Yeah, he must know. He working there.
Yes, yeah.
It's once I'm madness, boy. Once I'm madness, imagine you are manager on the toes for no reason. And library pastor, I don't lie to nobody. It costs in the state $25,000
US, yeah.
US a day. And this boat, this ship can't give me up and down good yet.
Hey, what you say now up and down, eh?
That is correct.
What you say now up and down?
Sorry.
Correct, Google.
Hey. Listen to me. There's a song with up and down.
I know there's a song with up and down. I know. But yeah, the man right. The boat can't give you up and down properly.
Pastor, the ship can't give you a starboard of the power spin. Good.
No, we're not.
When they fix one thing, let me real. When they fix one thing, it's something else. Yeah. I want to know where they find that boat.
What do you mean where they find the boat?
Because when I fix one thing, it's something else. By the pastor, what's in the Tobago?
I don't know. You had to ask Mr. Hislop. That is his church, brother. That is his church, brother. But let's go to the same church.
I'm going to ask him that question today to his face, you know. He just shake it and walk off, you know.
No, because I would have thought you going to life first and jump in the water.
I'm going to ask him today where he wetsuit.
Yeah,
he just shake it and walk off, you know.
Well, yeah, let me go my bed. You see the tall, yeah? I don't want to talk about Watson. Or Watson. Wait to see that say. Wait, in that word he does use. Boy. Wait to see use, boy. That word he does use.
Pastor, you remember I put your badge?
Yeah.
If you see that badge, I don't know who would have gone on that. If the union tell me that was thing.
Mark, say something now. Mark, say this before you come off the line. Only give only 10% yet?
10%? What is that? You're telling me. They're telling me whole straight after the media review.
After the media review?
Yeah, that's what you're telling me.
Call, have a good night. Have a good night. Yeah, have a good night. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Wow.
Games, you know.
Games, boy. Closing remarks. Because I don't want you to say you're not coming back on my program because I have up late.
You know, once you call me, brother, and I'm available, I will come on. My closing remarks are simple. I started by saying that I want the boat to work properly. And I still do. Because it is not only for me from a personal standpoint, but for all of Tobago. So we want the boat to work properly. And we hoping that within the shortest possible time, that whatever the issues are, that they are remedied so that the ferry can function within its correct schedule. 11 p.m. from Tobago, 2 p.m. from Trinidad, which gives us a one-day turnaround. You hear the man say the boat can't give you a good up and down yet? The man is correct. The man is correct. Because when the boat come in at night, when the boat leaves Trinidad at 9 o'clock tonight, it coming in the morning. It come in and meet all that traffic in town. With all them truck coming off the boat. Chaos in Scarborough in the morning when that boat dock. That is the reason why the boat does move at 11 and at 2. To avoid all of them kind of things. So I just want this thing to work properly, efficiently, and for it to be reliable. So that I could predict and say 11 o'clock tonight, the boat sailing.
Okay.
That is all. Yeah? Okay. And it's for the benefit of Tobago. If we have a strong Tobago, we have a strong Trinidad and Tobago.
All right. Well, Trinidad and Tobago, you just heard it. The man himself, former Senator Hislop, fighting for his people in Tobago. And he will. And again, whenever you're ready to use this platform, you just let me know. And we go set you up.
Nope. No problem, sir.
All right?
No problem. All right, brother.
Have a good evening, man. Well, a good morning.
Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Everybody rest well.
All right, man. Later.
All right, brother. Yeah.
All right. So again, we want to thank all of you for being on the live this evening. And, we had our brother from Tobago, former Senator Hislop, with us, sharing issues that's happening in Tobago.
So as we get ready for our next performer, one of the songs that's afraid to be wrong. The name of the song is Big Sail. The name of the singer, Queen Victoria.
Africans, for sale, for sale, for sale. Africans, for sale, for sale, for sale.
All you good, yes? I was lying with some old men before the election, and well, I was amazed of their discussion. They were discussing the election of 2025, how Africans were selling cheap and UNC buying dead or alive. One old man shout out, fellas, give me your attention. UNC can't win by themselves, no election. You see, they're sitting and they're planning to make a decision. So she called out Shilaga, who the old FIFA wanted man. She said, call the trade union, let we start negotiations. And we could call out a big sale and we go buy out some Africans. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying Africans. Sing the thing. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying Africans. She don't have all she chance and she the honor rhymes. No, what she need is some slave names, man, some big strong Africans. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying good or bad. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. Tobago and Trinidad. Oh, somebody pinch me. Hey, UNC sitting and they're waiting patiently. With about 16 safe seats, they don't win that already. The woman said, I have my people, and they are born UNCs. Now all I need is some Africans who got their names out of slavery. She said that she hear they're really selling cheap, and she could buy them very cheap, 500 and a jersey. A lot of people will cry when she's finished with CPEP, because she is not holding back 10p and them have nothing to get. She said this party be for country, all you never, never forget. She will care for her people and she have no blasting regret. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying Africans. She buying Africans for sale, for sale. Listen, we buying Africans. She said we like crab in a barrel. We pulling each other down. But I want their votes, so I jam them the winning song. And all they know it. Africans when you see wins, everybody wins. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. Tobago and Trinidad. Hi, who called me? I want this verse slow, right? Black mines in Tobago, she's working on them with ease, but she's not afraid because monkeys say cool breeze. She said the last time she was easy, this time there is no room for mistakes, cause when she's done with Tobago, it's either they make or break. She has her eyes on Moruga, especially Samuel Cooper. They got a lot of P&M houses, but none of them can remember. She's buying some in 6 company because they're nice, they're bad and they're trim. Their ancestors came from Africa and all of them is Americans. She passed through 5 company and she bounced up Madingo. Well, boy, she makes she name cause she gets Africans for Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying Africans. Kill them. Africans for sale, for sale. Listen this. We buying Africans. Doc Faisalabad was pretty Siroja with her reach in the cemetery. He said I'm waiting for refinery point. That man had to be crazy. What? Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying good or bad. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. Tobago and Trinidad. I never meet to commercial man so. She said my people are loyal. They don't vote for other parties. But them P&M people just show them some money, staggered roti. She said, I have my safe seats in the safe hands of Caroni. She'll go on to St. Cuba, straight down to St. Paris. She said, I love my people. For 10 years, we out in the rain. But when I get back in there, things will never be the same. To all of my people, you must get your rightful place. And I don't care who's sitting there and think I am talking race. You all know what's hurting me. You see that, Dr. Rowley? We don't hide up all we money. The damn man change the currency. Hey! Africans for sale, hey, for sale, hey, for sale. Hey. We buying Africans. Kill them. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying Africans. They bought out PSA. They got them for 10%. Now they could beat the chest and laugh because they know it's money well spent. All your love, all your Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying good or bad. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. Tobago and Trinidad. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying Africans. Africans for sale, for sale, for sale. We buying Africans. Africans for sale, for sale.
Information provided by the speakers and or presenter on Facebook and YouTube is for general informational purposes only. All information is provided in good faith. However, Constructive Talk makes no representation or warranty of any kind, express or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of this information.